Hello friends, welcome to TechCrunch. Today in this lab we will install OpenShift Cloud Run platform on AWS. So we will look how we will install on AWS. So first of all we will see the requirements what we should have before installing the OpenShift. So we will have three things. First is laptop or desktop which I am working on right now. Okay, then we have an bastion host or client VM which is on AWS or uh, due to for safety we need not to go to every host, so we have one central bastion host or client VM from where we will start the installer and install the OpenShift on AWS. On AWS we will have different master and workers of our OpenShift. So first of all, we would have localhost laptop, which is here. You can see. Then we have Bastion host. For that Bastion host, we must have a username and password. Okay. If we are having root, then it will be much better. Then for AWS, we would require AWS credentials, where it includes AWS Access Key ID and AWS Secret Access Key. These credentials we can generate from our AWS account. Okay, what will be the next step for us? These are the requirements. Now see prerequisites. So what we should perform before installing. So on the first of all, we will log into Bastion host or our client VM as your root user, right? Then we will install the AWS CLI tools, command line tools, because we have to interact with AWS as well. I will show you later. Then whichever credentials I show you in last slide, we have to save those credentials under this location, my home directory slash dot aws slash credentials, because we will be using this location in our installer. Okay. Then we have to get the OpenShift installer binary. Means we have to download that in OpenShift installer binary and untar or unzip that one. Then we have to again get the OpenShift client uh, CLI tool, command line interface tool, so that we would be able to run the OpenShift commands. Then we will verify that OpenShift installer which we have downloaded and CLI both should be in /usr/bin to make them executable, and from there we will execute OpenShift commands and that installer. Then we will set up bash completion for OpenShift CLI to ease our command line uh, command lines, right? Because on bash completion we will just hit the tab twice. Okay, so we will get the required options there, so our suggestions will be shown when we hit the tab button due to bash completion. So let's go to our Bastion host. Okay. Let me log in to Bastion host, and there we will perform all these tasks. Okay, now we are at our client VM with the root user. Okay, so first of all, we will download the AWS command CLI, right? And let me run this command curl s3 amazon aws.com AWS CLI and its bundle. Right? Press enter. Okay, it will download the client CLI tools for AWS here. Now what we will do, we will unzip. Okay, first let's see what we get here. ls, so we have AWS CLI bundle, right? So now unzip AWS CLI bundle. Okay, we have unzipped that. Now let's install the AWS CLI. Okay, So AWS CLI bundle install, enter. So our AWS CLI bundle has been installed. Now as it mentioned here, we can run and check AWS hyphen hyphen version, right? So you can see it has been installed 1.18.41, right, with Python and Linux. Then we will clean up what we have downloaded. Okay, so let's see, we don't have here, right? Now we will download the OpenShift installer binary. So first let me clear my screen, and then we will put the version which we are going to install, that is 4.1.0. Press enter, and then just wget that OCP version here and its star file. Press enter. It has been connected and now downloading the OpenShift tar for us. So let's verify it has been downloaded. OpenShift install, right? Let's untar it. Okay, let's enter, and then we will remove downloaded. So let's remove downloaded tar and readme, right? Now let's give the execute permission to our installer. Okay, OpenShift install file, under the USR bin we are giving execute permission. Press enter. This was the second part, getting the OpenShift installer. Right now we will download the OpenShift CLI tool. Let me clear my screen. So let's wget the CLI client line OpenShift client Linux. Okay, press enter. So it has been downloaded. Let's check. OpenShift client Linux has been downloaded. Now we will untar it under the USR bin, right? Hyphen capital C slash USR slash bin. So it will untar it under the USR bin. Now we will remove these files from this one, downloaded files. So let's remove unused files, and then chmod plus x slash usr slash bin slash oc, right? So we have given oc, that is OpenShift command line tool, to the execute permission. Okay, let's verify if both OpenShift installer and OpenShift client library or CLI tool are in slash usr slash bin. So let's check. Yes, we are having OC and OpenShift install existing here. Okay. Now we will set up batch completion for OpenShift CLI tool. Right. Press enter. So that has been completed. Now if we see and tab, then it will show us these commands. Okay. So now what we will do, we will save the AWS credentials under my home directory and within .aws credentials file, right? So let's first check my home directory, right? So here I'll create .aws file and sorry directory. and so let's paste this one, right? So we are using here variables like AWS access key ID, which I have already create variable for that, and AWS secret access key and reason, right? All the three parameters will be required. Okay, press enter. Okay, we'll check LSLA, and we have .aws here. It will go inside. Here we'll have credential file. Okay, let me clear my screen. So now we will go open this URL in the browser, where we will get that prompt for installing OpenShift. So I have opened that URL, right here, cloudredhat.com OpenShift install. Here we need to log in because we need to have Red Hat subscription or developer account to access the OpenShift page, right? We have here different options to install OpenShift on uh, different environment like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, VMware, vSphere, Red Hat OpenStack platform, Red Hat virtualization, bare metal, IBM Linux One, or run on laptop. Okay, so we are going to install OpenShift here on the AWS. So let's select AWS. Then we will use installer provision infrastructure, not user provision, right? So we will select this one. Okay, from here we will see that pull secret, right? Let's see. Yeah, in the pull secret option, we need to copy pull secret. Just click on it. It has been copied, and we need to save it somewhere in a file. It will be required later, right? So let me copy it somewhere and we'll use it later. So I have put it in Notepad. So we need to verify three things here, right? First of all, we should have this square.io, right, in that pull secret. Second is registry.connect.redhat.com, and third is registry.redhat.io, right? These three things we need to check in our pull secret. So we have verified that it contains all these threes. Let me close it here. I have saved it. We will use it later. Okay, right now. So let's just go to our VM now. Let's create SSH key pair here. Okay. One thing we will be using a GUID parameter in most of the places. Let's, what is that? This is GUID, which I already set to 29DD, right? So we will create SSH key pair to be used in our OpenShift environment. So we have used that GUID here. Okay, press enter, right? So that uh, let's see d.ssh. Here we are having the public and private key for cluster 29DD, right? So we need to have this public key will we use later. So now we will be running our OpenShift installer. Before that, I would like to explain the process of that setup, how it happened, right? So the main assets generated by our installer which we are going to run are the ignition configuration of Bootstrap or our Bastion host or master and worker machines. So we have three type of machines: Bootstrap, master and worker. Okay, these three configuration will start an OpenShift cluster. The process for that bootstrapping for a cluster will be like, first of all, the Bootstrap machine boots and starts hosting the remote resources required for master node, right, to boot itself. Then the master node fetch the remote resources from the Bootstrap machine and finish booting. Then the master use the Bootstrap node to form an etcd cluster, right? Then Bootstrap node start a temporary Kubernetes control plane using the newly created etcd cluster. Okay. Then that temporary control plane schedule the production control plane to the master nodes and get itself shut down, which yields to production control plane. Now the action will be for production control plane. So Bootstrap node injects OpenShift specific components into this new production control plane before getting shut down, and the installer then tear down the Bootstrap node. So that was the whole process of bootstrapping a OpenShift cluster. The result of this bootstrapping process is a fully running OpenShift cluster. The cluster will then download and configure the remaining components needed for our day-to-day operation, including creation of worker machine on supported platforms. The installer uses a wizard approach, asking a few questions about the environment before executing the installation. If you want to avoid the wizard or run the installer from a shell script, it is useful to set up environment variables for a particular cloud platform, whether it is AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure, or IBM. So now let's run the OpenShift installer. Okay. So as we have installed bash completion, I'll press double tap. Okay. Then we'll get OpenShift -install option. So OpenShift, again tab, and it will complete. Okay. Now create cluster. Okay. And -dir means directory or location where we want to keep our cluster configuration or other files, right? So our directory was where, slash our home directory, right, slash cluster cluster, okay, hyphen 29dd, right, and press enter. Okay, use arrow to move. So now press down arrow, okay, and up or down arrow will be used to select whichever we want to use, right? So our SSH public key is under home, our username dot ssh and cluster select hyphen 29dd hyphen key dot pub, right? We'll press enter. Now platform is AWS. We do not have any option for up and down arrow, so press enter. Region which we are using, we will using US East 2, that is already been selected, but for up and down arrow you can see we can choose anyone. So we are selecting region US East 2 here, press enter. Okay, then base domain, it is giving us this 29dd sandbox and this one, right? So which one we will select? We will select the down one. Okay, and we'll press enter. Cluster name, what we want to have. Okay, so if we want to have demo hyphen cluster, right, press enter. Pull secret, now we have to use that pull secret which we have copied earlier, right? So let me copy that. and will paste here. Okay, and then press enter. Right, so now these will be the option we have to give answer, and it will take some time, about 30 minutes, right? So let's see if it will create earlier than that, then I'll be back once it will complete. Okay, so the process is still going on and it will take some time. So till the meantime, if you want to know what is going on in the background, what we can do, we can open another terminal, right? I have gone there. So we have checked in our home directory, there will be cluster directory, right, which we gave there. We'll go to that cluster directory, cluster hyphen 29dd. Here we will check lsla, right? And here we can see OpenShift install log, right? We can tail this, tail hyphen f, and press OpenShift install log. Press enter. Here you can see uh, etcd node 0, etcd node 0 has been still creating, right? etcd node 2 still creating. So it is creating etcd nodes, right? Now but next week the logs will keep going. Now creation complete after 1 minute for demo cluster etcd 1, right? etcd 0, okay, and etcd 2. So our etcd nodes have been provisioned, right, under this route 53 record. Okay, so now what is happening, these logs are important for debugging purpose or troubleshooting purpose as well, right? Now what it has create, so it has creation complete after 1 minute 9 second. And what it is for, API int and etcd server ssl. Okay, keep waiting for Kubernetes API. This still waiting for Kubernetes API, server could not find the requested resource. TCP 13, this connection refused. Okay, let's see. After waiting for some time, it was giving an error, could not find the requested resource. But now it is showing API is up and waiting for bootstrapping to complete. So let's wait further. Okay, okay. I think my terminal has stuck. Okay, so as I can show, we can check logs from other location as well that also have some issue with my terminal. So let's check it again. Okay, so on our home directory, we will check ls hyphen a. Okay, sorry, ls, and here we have our cluster directory. Okay, here if we'll do lsltr. Okay, so we have these directories, but we need to check ls hyphen a, ls hyphen la, right? So in this OpenShift install log, we can tail hyphen f, or tail hyphen f, we can see, right? It is showing right now 99% complete. So I have some doubt, might be it is not going further. So Let me check by other way, right? So we have some other ways as well. uh, Let me just cancel it, control C. Okay, here let me check, let me clear it first, right? lsltr, these are the directories which just got created after running that installer. Okay, so we will go to auth one, right? Cd auth, then ls-ltr, right? So first of all, we can get our console password from here, right? Its username will be kubeadmin and the password will be, I can show you, right? So this will be the password, right? So ls-ltr, and if we want to log into command line, right? We are not getting the console URL right now, okay, due to some issue. So what we will do, we will export this kube config, right? So let me check where we are. We are here, right? So we will export kube config with this command, export kube config, our home directory, then cluster name, then auth, and then kube config, right? Once we will export it, right, then what will happen, we can log into our OpenShift cluster using a special credential, right? System will be the user and admin will be the password. How? Let's see. So we will log in with OC command, OC login hyphen u user system colon admin, right? Press enter, and here we are, right? So now we are inside our cluster. Okay, we have these number of projects, or you can say namespaces within these within this cluster, right? Most of all of them are its internal, like OpenShift API, OpenShift authentication, cloud credential operator. There are many operators here, right? OpenShift console, OpenShift DNS, Cube API server, right? So what we will do, we need to have console URL from here, right? So what we can do, OC get routes, right? Hyphen hyphen all hyphen namespaces. So what it will do, this command will give us the route or URL for from all the namespaces, right? If I'll press enter, right? So these many URLs, you can say, you can see here host port. These are the routes, or you can say URL, okay, which are inside our cluster. So which one are required? So we need the console one, okay. So there are some others, OpenShift, downloads, alert manager, Grafana, and Prometheus. So Grafana and Prometheus I will show you later. Right now we will check for the this console, right? So we will open this in web browser. Let me open it. Okay, you can see I have pasted the same route in the web browser and press enter, right? Let me maximize it. Okay, so it will ask me to continue because it is not trusted yet, right? I'll click on continue to this website. Okay, and the same we can do in other browsers as well, either it is Chrome or Firefox. Okay, so it is giving me error. Let me open it once again. Okay, it is opening. If it will give any issue in this browser, we can open in another one, right? Or we can just change the browser and try again. Let me click on it again. Okay, let me do it again. I think it is not allowing me, so I'll open it in another browser. Okay, let me open it in Chrome. Okay, so yeah, you can see we are able to open the UI. Okay, it is also saying yeah. So here, what username we have to use? We have to use cube admin. Okay, and password will be I have copied. Let me paste it here and login. So I am able to log in, and here you can see on the right hand side up top corner I have logged in with cube admin, right? And we have these many projects here already, which I showed you on command line as well, right? These, okay. So let's do some validation on command line, right? So okay, it got hang. Let me reconnect it. Okay, let me walk through some of the options which we are getting here, right? Cube admin, let me click on it. Okay, let's see what we'll get. Display token. Okay, if we log in to this, okay, we have different tokens here, right? To log in with token for automation or other things. We have in documentation and command line tools. In this, we have multi-cluster manager. Let's see if it is showing something. Okay, so let's see till the time it open. Okay, after providing Red Hat credentials, it has been open for us. So we can see we have this cluster, right? Only one cluster is here. We can add multiple cluster here. So it is a cluster manager. So type is OpenShift container platform created just for 60 days trial. Version is 4.1.0. So let me click on it. Okay. So let's see. We have total memory, CPU. Okay. Version created owner, right? And subscription. It is showing 18 core, right? So if I'll see some other things, let's monitoring, alert firing. Okay, so nodes, we have these nodes, right? Cluster operators, different operators we have on this cluster, right? And then we have resource uses for CPU and memory. Okay, so going above, let's see which one we are having. Okay, these we are having 6 nodes, right? 3 is master and 3 is workers. So nothing is there, right? Then if we'll check other subscription or okay, you do not have any quota, support case, documentation and feedback. So if I click on this home button where it will bring us, okay, now we are at Red Hat OpenShift Cluster Manager, Ansible Automation Platform, Insight, Cost Management. Those are the options. So we just go to Cluster Manager back, and I was doing something. click on this, right, and add console URL, right. On action, what we have: edit display name, archive cluster, edit subscription setting. Let me change its display name, OCP 410, right. So edit. Now you can see name has been changed. Okay, next is okay, we are not doing that. Let add console URL. So console URL is already there. Okay, we are not having option for that. Okay, just go back to clusters here, right. So let me close this one. Okay, we'll go back to yeah, we were having this option multi cluster, and if I click this upper arrow, so what it will do, it will bring us to cluster settings. Okay, so if we can update our cluster, right, with channel or version, it is 4.1, desired version is 4.1.0, right, cluster ID, image, right, and autoscaler we can create here. Other details are when it started and when completed. Okay, so global configuration, we have yeah different configuration. We can check these YAML files, we can update from here as well. For the cluster, for cluster operators, we have different 20 it is showing 25 operators are there, right, for storage, network, DNS, ingress, authentication, and others as well. Let me check what it is. You are logged in as temporary administrative user. Update the cluster auth configuration. So auth overview, name is cluster. Okay, annotation, identity provider. Okay, we are it is giving us option for identity provider. So let me select htpasswd. Okay, and htpasswd. Okay, we don't have any update in st. Okay, we do not have any right now, we will check it later. Okay, let me just cancel it. In the YAML what we have, okay, so auth, we will see it later as well. Cancel. Okay, on the left hand side, what we are having on this, okay, this is for full screen. In the home, as I saw in my another video as well, we have projects. Okay, click on projects, we have different projects, we can create projects from here. On status page, we have any deployment status here, we can see. Then we can search from our projects or different components from here, right, either it's service, build, or anything, right, DNS. There are lot more options for checking things. So if I saw node, yeah, if I'll click on node, yeah, we can see these are the nodes, right. And for right now we do not have any pod and other things, so I could not check those. We have projects, right, so lot more options are there. If you want to see or check the events, we can see the latest events which happened just now, right, 11:10, and before that as well. Node IP status is now node is pressed, right. So alerts, warnings, and other type of events or messages we can see here like this, right. all categories, info and error. We can filter them, and this is for our project, right? So this was the under the home button or home tab. In the catalog, we have developers catalog, where we have pre-built images from where using them we can create our deployments. Okay, Nginx, Node.js, PHP, right? So let me do one thing. Let's just create PHP one, right? Click on PHP, create application. Okay, namespace. Okay, we will just go to home, create our first project. Okay, first demo one. Okay, and display name is demo project. Description, let it be default, and we just created, right? So now we are having three options. Browse catalog will again bring us to developer catalog. Let's just click on it, right? So we are again there at the same location. So now let me select PHP, create application again, and now we have select namespace is demo1, right? And PHP 7.2 name demo PHP. Okay, and try the sample one and create a route, and just click on create. So this will be our first simple deployment. Okay, you can see within the project status we can see DC, or it will bring us our cursor here, it will show deployment config. If we click on this deployment config, it will give our overview, right? Desired count is 1. Right now there is no ports available, it is getting created, and other options as well. Okay, so if I'll check on resources, so build 1 is running, it is getting created, right? And location is this one. So routes, it has already been created, right? And if I'll go, okay, we have actions, different options are here. Okay, and if I'll click on this, let's see if it, okay, it's not yet ready. So let's wait. Click on view logs, what it will show. Yeah, it's just creating that deployment for us. Okay, so in the demo PHP build, we have resume streams. Okay, so we can check other details here. Status is running, how many memory and file system or CPU resources are getting used. Okay, output to where, push secrets, run policy. We can check its CML as well, right? Okay, then environment variables, if we have any, then we can see logs and events as well. So in the events, let's see if it is created. Yeah, this has been completed successfully now. So we'll click on logs and go down. So push each successful, you can see. So on the overview, let me click on overview here. We should have, okay, we don't have. Then let me click on demo PHP. Okay, and okay, click on build, and this one again, we are back. Okay, I was just checking for, okay, Not from here. Let's go to networking section. In the networking, we have routes, and for this demo PHP, we have this location. Let's click on it, and now it's ready, right? Earlier it was not ready, now it is fine. So we have done just a simple deployment here for demo purpose. So other things in catalog tab, we have installed operators, and we can install new operators where we have already 25 operators, right? Operator hub, uh, from where we can get the different operators and install them. Okay, you can see we have different cloud provider operators. Okay, developer tools, networking, and there are many others as well for storage, security. Okay, streaming and messaging. So these operators we can use. Other than operator management, when we will use any operator, then we can create subscription catalogs. This was all about catalog. Then we have workloads. Workloads, we have different components: ports, deployment config, stateful sets, secrets, config map, cron jobs, daemon set, replica set, horizontal pod auto scaler. Right now we just built a deployment, right? And this deployment is just for Kubernetes. For OpenShift, we will be using deployment config. So in the deployment config, you can see we have one deployment. Furthermore, we will go to storage. We have three options: persistent volume, okay, persistent volume claim, and storage classes. So here we have storage class for AWS EBS, right? Then from build, we have build config, okay, for it just build, and other builds which we have already completed 5 minutes ago. We have image streams which are act as just like triggers. Okay, so whenever there is any changes or new configuration in the YAML, then these image streams will automatically initiate the builds. So just keep it back. Then we have monitoring. In the monitoring, we have alerts. Okay, different alerts we are getting: cube deployment, replica mismatch, crash loop, right? So from here we can just check with filters. Silence. Silence temporarily mute alerts based on set of conditions which we do not want to get us bothered again and again. Then we have metrics. Metrics will open Prometheus, right? So this is the Prometheus URL, and let's accept this certificate. And for username, let me try admin. Okay, login with OpenShift. Authorize access, allow select permission. Yeah, so Prometheus, we have logged in with our OpenShift credentials, right? So here we can check like okay, how many nodes we have, right? Node, we need to route queries here. Node count, let's check. Okay, there are different options here. Okay, so if I see queue port info node count, so we have 6 nodes, right? So it will show 6 nodes. So like this, we can write queries and get here as well. In the graph, we can see, okay, we are having 6 nodes. So we'll check CPU. utilization average 1 minute will execute, and you can see the graphs, and on console we have details as well. So like this we can see the metrics, different metrics here we can set, and there are other tools, targets, and different things are here. This is for monitoring and alerting purpose we can use. So let me close it right now. This was for metrics. For dashboard we have Grafana. Okay, for this let me okay, just open. So again we can log in it with OpenShift. Okay, allow. And for dashboarding purpose we have in this Grafana inbuilt in the OpenShift cluster. Okay, from here we can create dashboards. Okay, different dashboards like let's see for etcd. Okay, we have three etcd nodes. They are rpc rate, active streams, memory, disk sync duration, and different charts here, right? Those are inbuilt. For other, let me check for compute resources, namespace, ports and workloads, and use method. Let me check on cluster, right? Compute resources, and for cluster, okay, let me check, right? So we have these much CPUs, okay, memory utilization. So different these are projects, okay, different projects, how much they are using, so we can see those charts here. Okay, this quota as well, CPU says quota, memory, and there are different charts. So for easily monitoring purpose we can see dashboards we can create, and automatic it can refresh, or right, on clicking on this it will refresh. We can check between different intervals, time intervals, that those dashboards. Okay, so we'll go through it later, right? Let me just close it. So in the monitoring we have done. So in compute section we have nodes. Okay, we have 6 nodes right now. We have machines. Okay, right now we do not have any machine showing here. For demo project let me check in default now, and all projects, yeah, in all projects we are using the same machines. Okay, if we'll go in the machine set, okay, let me click on machine set. So we have uh, these machines, one in 2A. A is the availability zone in AWS. So we have three master nodes. You can see MS is master, right? Master server. So those, and okay, let me, okay, sorry, that is machine set. So this is for workers. Here you can see workers, and those are in different availability zones. So let's see, edit count, labels, edit and delete. So we will check that also later. Machine config, we have different machine configuration, container runtime, master kubelet, and all these. Okay, master, worker, and all those are coming from the repository, or that OpenShift repository, quiet.io. If we'll see machine config pools, so there are two, master and workers. Okay, so just minimize it. Then in administration we have cluster status. We'll click on cluster status. We can see how many alerts, how many crash loop reports, OpenShift console is up or not, API is up or not, okay, control plane status, right, capacity planning, so how many CPU usage, memory usage, disk usage and port usage. Then we can see events from here. Okay, there are lot of events we can see. Okay, so it's just all the events here, so let me bring it to the top. Then we have cluster settings, which I showed from the here as well, right, on the top right side up arrow. When I click on namespaces, there are different namespaces, just like same as my projects. We have service accounts. We can create a new service accounts as well, but we are already having a lot of service accounts right now also for internally for OpenShift. We have roles. We have about 238 roles, from where 120 system roles, 45 namespace, and 67 cluster wide roles. So we have different roles, and for those roles we have role bindings. Okay, so like this is for user, this is for service account, this is for group, and which permission, which user, this is for cube admin, this is alert manager main, system authenticated, default, and all those permissions. These are the roles. Okay, so then we have resource quotas. Right now there is no quota defined, we will see later at this. Then we have limit range, no limit range right now, and at the end we have custom resource definitions. So these are for custom uh, objects or custom resources we can create in OpenShift. That is option in Kubernetes as well, but all those options are incorporated in OpenShift as well. So that was the overall overview for this web UI. I don't think any component is left. So we will see them in detail or work with them in future videos. So let me see if I left something. Okay, it's nothing there. We will discuss in next videos if there will be something left. So thank you. Thanks for watching. Keep sharing. Stay safe and good luck.